Did Tom Cruise build the craziest motorcycle collection in Hollywood? A $600 million net worth, films that pulled in over $13 billion worldwide, and a garage full of motorcycles so rare that some of them only have 200 copies on the entire planet. Tom Cruise is not just Hollywood's biggest action star. He might be its biggest motorcycle addict too. Kawasaki GPZ 900R. The year is 1986. Tom Cruise is 23 years old. Nobody outside Hollywood knows his name yet. And a movie called Top Gun is about to change everything. In one of the most famous scenes ever put on film, Cruise is racing a Kawasaki GPZ 900R down a runway at Naval Air Station Miramar in San Diego, while an F-14 Tomcat takes off right beside him. Ray-Ban aviators, no helmet, flight jacket catching the wind, and the engine screaming at 10,500 RPM. That Kawasaki was not some random prop. It was the fastest production motorcycle on the planet when it launched in 1984, packing a 908cc liquid-cooled inline four-cylinder engine that pushed 115 horsepower and hit 151 miles per hour. The first straight bike in history to break the 150 mile per hour barrier. Kawasaki spent 6 years building it in secret before anyone even knew it existed. And Cruise rode it himself during filming. No stunt double on the key shots, tearing down that tarmac beside a real fighter jet. There was another scene people always forget. Cruise chases Kelly McGillis through the streets of San Diego on that same Kawasaki while she drives a Porsche 356. A Porsche trying to outrun a GPZ 900R on the street. Not a chance. The movie made over $350 million. Before Top Gun, people pictured heavy cruisers when you said motorcycle. After Top Gun, every fast bike in America got called a Ninja, and Cruise burned that word into the culture with one film. Kawasaki had spent years trying to market the Ninja name to American riders, and one 23-year-old actor on a runway did more for that brand in 2 minutes of screen time than a decade of advertising ever could. He loved the GPZ 900R so much he bought one for himself. And that single purchase lit a fire that has been burning for almost 4 decades now. What started as one bike from one movie would eventually grow into a collection worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, filled with machines that most professional riders will never even sit on. But nobody knew back then just how far that obsession would go, because the bikes Cruise started collecting next came straight off the sets of the biggest action franchise in history. Harley Davidson Heritage Softail Classic. 4 years after Top Gun, Cruise showed up in the 1990 NASCAR film days of Thunder alongside Nicole Kidman, and this time he was riding a Harley Davidson Heritage Softail Classic. Big, chrome-heavy, all-American muscle and rumble. That Harley went straight into his personal collection after filming, and it became the first sign that Cruise was not just a guy who liked fast bikes. He was becoming a collector, pulling machines off movie sets and refusing to let them go. And that habit was about to get a whole lot more serious with a Triumph that changed the way motorcycle chases look in movies forever. Triumph Speed Triple. The year 2000 brought Mission Impossible 2, and with it came a 1999 Triumph Speed Triple, a 955cc inline 3-cylinder engine pushing 110 horsepower and 71.5 pound-feet of torque, topping out at over 140 miles per hour. Cruise tore through one of the wildest chase sequences anyone had ever filmed on 2 wheels. No helmet, full speed, sliding and skidding through corners while the camera barely kept up. The villain rode a Triumph Daytona. Cruise was on the Speed Triple. Both bikes got pushed to their absolute limits, and the sequence became an instant classic that set the template for every motorcycle chase the franchise would ever attempt. Once filming wrapped, the Speed Triple went home with Cruise. At this point, a pattern was forming that would repeat itself across every Mission Impossible film for the next 2 decades. If Tom Cruise rides it on camera, Tom Cruise takes it home. Triumph Bonneville Scrambler. Mission Impossible 3 took things even further. The production team built a custom Triumph Bonneville Scrambler specifically for the film, a one-of-a-kind machine that did not exist anywhere else on the planet. Every detail was tailored for the action sequences Cruz would ride through on camera. When shooting ended, that scrambler went to auction, and Cruz grabbed it for almost $30,000. He was not about to let somebody else ride off on a bike that was built for his hands and his body, not when he had already put it through its paces in front of the cameras. Triumph Thruxton. And it was not just the action bikes that caught his attention. Cruz also owns a Triumph Thruxton, a gorgeous British cafe racer with an 865cc air-cooled parallel twin making about 60 horsepower. According to reports, Cruz personally rode this Thruxton to the set of Mission Impossible 3, while all the heavy film equipment was being shipped separately. Everyone else flew in. Cruz showed up on a cafe racer. But the Triumphs were just the British chapter of this story. BMW was about to enter the picture with two bikes that would push everything to another level. BMW S1000RR. Mission Impossible Rogue Nation dropped one of the most aggressive superbikes BMW has ever made right into Cruz's lap. The S1000RR runs a 999cc inline four-cylinder engine pushing close to 200 horsepower. And the chase scene through Morocco was so well shot that people in the motorcycle community called it the greatest BMW Motorrad commercial ever produced. The speed, the lean angles, the raw aggression on screen, it sold more S1000RRs than any actual advertisement ever could have. Cruz bought one for himself the moment filming ended. His stunt coordinator, Wade Eastwood, said something about Cruz that stuck with the entire motorcycle world. He said Cruz is not a good rider for an actor. He is a genuinely good rider, period, and you simply cannot fool him on a bike. He knows exactly what a machine should do, and he will push it until it gets there. And on the very next Mission Impossible film, Cruz proved that point by crashing a BMW on camera and still keeping the bike. BMW R9T Scrambler. Mission Impossible Fallout put Cruz on a BMW R9T Scrambler for a chase through the streets of Paris, riding the wrong way around the Arc de Triomphe at full speed with traffic coming straight at him. The R9T has a 1,170cc boxer twin engine and tops out at 124 miles per hour. And during filming, Cruz actually crashed the thing on set. The bike survived the wreck. Cruz walked away without a scratch, and the R9T went straight into his permanent collection. A motorcycle crash during a blockbuster action sequence was apparently not enough reason to stop wanting the bike. If anything, it gave the machine a better story to tell. Honda CRF 450X. Not every bike in this garage came screaming off a movie chase scene. The Honda CRF 450X is a dirt bike, a proper off-road machine making around 50 horsepower, and it showed up in the 2013 film Oblivion wrapped in a futuristic body kit, so nobody would ever recognize it on screen. Cruz reportedly had strong opinions about how the bike should handle during filming, and when everything wrapped, the production team gave the CRF 450X to him as a birthday present. Honda Valkyrie Rune. And then there is the Honda Valkyrie Rune, which is the strangest bike in the entire collection. Honda only built this massive cruiser for a short window around 2003 and 2004. It runs a 1,832cc flat-six engine, the same cylinder configuration you would find inside a Porsche 911, and the thing weighs over 800 pounds. It is the complete opposite of every lightweight sport bike sitting around it in that garage, and that contrast is exactly what makes this collection different from every other celebrity motorcycle hoard on the planet. Cruz does not collect one type of machine. He collects anything that moves fast or looks incredible standing still. But the movie bikes and the oddball cruisers are really just the opening act of this story, because deeper in that garage sit machines so rare and so expensive that most motorcycle dealers have never even seen them in person. Ducati 999R. Only 200 of these exist on the entire Earth. Ducati built the 999R in 2003 as a limited edition race machine for the World Superbike Championship. It runs a 999cc Testoretta engine pushing 139 horsepower. It blasts through the quarter mile in 10.6 seconds, and it tops out at 174 miles per hour. Cruz gifted one to himself for his 46th birthday, a gray model with race-spec Olin suspension and carbon fiber trim. Most people who own a bike this rare put it under glass and never touch it again. Not Cruz. Reports surfaced that he nearly wrapped the 999R around a tree while riding through the streets of Los Angeles on a regular afternoon. Only 199 other human beings on the planet own this same machine. That crash would have destroyed something truly irreplaceable, something that Ducati will never build again. But the fact that he was riding it hard enough to nearly lose it tells you everything about how this man treats his motorcycles. They are not trophies to him. They are built to be ridden, and he rides them like he stole them. And the 999R is not even the most extreme Ducati in that garage, because the next one is a street-legal MotoGP race machine that Cruz got before anyone else in America. Ducati Desmosedici RR. Only 1,500 of these were ever produced, and every single one sold out before Ducati even finished building them. Tom Cruise received the very first Desmosedici RR delivered to the United States at a price of $72,500. It packs a 989cc V4 engine cranking out close to 200 horsepower, weighs just 171 kilograms dry, runs from 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds, and hits 200 miles per hour. Race spec Brembo brakes, adjustable Öhlins suspension, and a design pulled directly from the bike Ducati raced in MotoGP. This is not a motorcycle built for the street. It is a race weapon that Ducati made street legal in tiny numbers for the few people crazy enough to want one. Cruise even took his night and day co-star, Cameron Diaz, for a ride on it during filming. A passenger on a $72,500 motorcycle that does 200 miles per hour, with Tom Cruise at the handlebars. That is either the greatest ride of someone's life or the single most terrifying thing that can happen on two wheels. Confederate Hellcat. If you have ever heard of Confederate Motors, that is because they are a tiny American boutique builder that makes extremely limited hand-built motorcycles that almost nobody can get their hands on. Every Confederate Hellcat is assembled entirely by hand from raw materials. The engine is a massive 2,163cc V-twin carved from a 400-pound block of aircraft-grade aluminum, and the bike costs around $75,000. Only a small number were ever made, and each one is completely custom for its owner. Cruise rode the Hellcat straight up to the red carpet at the premiere of Mission Impossible 3. While every other celebrity stepped out of a black limousine looking polished and careful, Cruise pulled up on a hand-built American muscle bike that most people in that crowd had never even heard of before. That entrance alone turned heads across the entire motorcycle industry and reminded everyone that when it comes to two wheels, nobody in Hollywood takes it more seriously than this man. But the Hellcat, as rare and wild as it is, still does not hold the title for the most expensive motorcycle in that garage. That belongs to an Italian machine so extreme it was custom built to fit one single human body on the planet. Vyrus 987 C3 4V. This is the crown jewel. The Vyrus 987 C3 4V is an Italian machine designed by Ascanio Rodrigo, and every single unit is custom built to the exact body measurements of the rider who orders it. The engine is a 1,198cc Ducati V-twin making 180 horsepower in standard form, with an optional supercharged version that pushes the output all the way to 211 horsepower. Top speed sits at 209 miles per hour, and the entire machine weighs just 154 kilograms, one of the lightest high-performance bikes in its class anywhere on the planet. The base price was $112,000 when it first went on sale. Add the full carbon fiber frame, the carbon ceramic brakes, and the supercharged engine, and you are looking at over $150,000 for one single motorcycle. Cruise debuted the Vyrus at his 51st birthday party at the Chateau Marmont Hotel in Hollywood. He came roaring into the party on this $150,000 machine, while every other guest arrived in chauffeured cars and tinted SUVs. The media completely lost their minds. Cameras went off from every angle. Security did not know what to do. That one entrance on a motorcycle nobody had ever seen before generated more headlines than most celebrities get in an entire year, and it cemented what everyone else already suspected. Tom Cruise does not just ride motorcycles. Motorcycles are who he is. And that is the full story of 12 motorcycles that trace the arc of one man's career and one man's obsession. From a 23-year-old kid racing a Kawasaki beside an F-14 on a runway in San Diego, to a 60-year-old launching a Honda off a 1,246-meter cliff in Norway after logging 13,000 practice jumps and 500 skydives just to prepare for one single stunt. Movie bikes he refused to return. Triumphs and BMWs pulled from the biggest action franchise in history. Limited edition Ducatis that most collectors will never see in person. A hand-built American Hellcat he rode to a movie premiere while everyone else arrived in limousines. And a $150,000 custom Italian superbike he rode to his own birthday party like it was just another Tuesday night. With a net worth around $600 million and films totaling over $13.3 billion at the box office, Tom Cruise does not just collect motorcycles. He lives on them. And at 62 years old, still riding harder than people half his age, he is almost certainly not done adding to this collection. If you want to see which celebrity collection is even crazier than this, that video is on screen right now. Subscribe so you do not miss it.